I mean, at this point, I would be more surprised if Shifters were able to cleanly close out a game with Baron Nashor. I think they needed one throw at least. You know, you give them one at least, and then we can get the smooth sailing. But as you talked about the jungle pool, I'm really curious. We already see that actually Shifters chose to ban out the Sion and the Poby instead of the K'Sante, which is a strange choice here because after Navi's 3-0 start to the split, they have gotten K'Sante banned against them pretty much every single game, and Maynter has not been able to play it. And that's why he's shifted towards the Sion and the Poby, but not finding the same success on it. I think this is probably a first pick K'Sante. No, it's a first pick Azir. So maybe then Shifters thought this would happen, and now they picked the K'Sante. At least I'm thinking K'Sante is a huge power pick here. And
he did come into the day talking about how incredibly powerful this champion is, and it's no surprise to anyone, right? Because K'Sante feels like he's been omnipresent since he was initially released, and now we've got the counter into the Azir, or at least a comfortable matchup for Nuke, and Nuke known for his Cassio, and you've secured the K'Sante with the Sion banned away, and look, Maynter can go back to the Rumble, but I'm going to be honest,
it didn't look great.
It did not look great.
And he just hasn't found that same success on anything other than the K'Sante, so I'm honestly really surprised that they chose to not take it away. The Cassiopeia as well is a little bit weird to me, because normally you always want to play Cassiopeia into something like the Rise, something that's much shorter range. But already now with the Azir and Jayce, that's a lot of range with the Gnar as well. I mean, Gnar into this K'Sante, it's a great matchup. You struggle a little bit in the early game, but then you get to scale up and just be really annoying. And it just further enforces this idea of that they can play this long-range team comp and really make Cassiopeia's life very difficult, while now also having the split push threat on this Gnar. I like what Navi cooked up thus far. Only question is, Maynter of tanks. Haven't seen him have a pop-off performance, but I think he's got the cards laid up nicely for him here.
Yeah, overall, I think that's something that we've been waiting to see. He got a pass on playing tanks every game because his jungler was playing so many crazy things. The Rumble game, yes, it did lack a little bit, and now we get to see if the Gnar is a bit better into the K'Sante. I do really like the poke. The Jayce jungle left a little bit following those immediate jungle clear nerfs, but even yesterday it looked so good in the hands of Vitality, and now...
I mean, this is a classic Jayce counter, absolute classic.
The Malphite lock-in...
Yeah, so normally you'd always go Malphite top into Jayce, right? And then you'd always be able to all-in on him. And in the jungle, it's kind of a similar dynamic, but you're escaping that tough early laning phase, which Malphite was so known for because he's just a rock, you know? He doesn't really do anything in the first few levels. But then, as he develops and gets bigger and stronger, suddenly he just crushes you with his pure size.
It's really a 0 to 100 sort of moment there. I don't know what the Pokemon equivalent is. Is there a completely useless evolution that suddenly becomes the greatest thing on the face of the planet?
Charizard, maybe? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like Charmeleon's kind of Fuego, though. I don't know. Yeah.
Fuego, okay.
You like that? You like throw a little Spanish in there? I know our audience.
Okay.
Add a little French. Not that anyway, we're heading into second bans. Malphite, as you highlighted, I feel like just gives him this nice linear tool to kick things off, even if it doesn't necessarily do much in the early game. But the Alistar taken away from Parus.
Yeah, I mean,
Nico now as well. I guess maybe just 4 support bans.
Yeah, I think something like the Nautilus for Shifters makes a lot of sense, something like the Rhilech. They really want more engaged to follow up on this Malphite. It's very obvious what Navi wants to do. They already have 2 poking champions. They want to continue just drafting this kind of poking style. And they are really looking for disengage to try to make Shifters' life harder to play. Because if Cassio can't reach, if K'Sante can't get a good engage, then they're just going to get kind of poked back in, kited out, and then ran down by this Gnar Azir. So engage for the sides of Shifter and disengage for the sides of Navi. They did decide to ban out the Nico. I think that's just for the early laning matchup, that they want to make sure that Trymbi doesn't have access to that. Had some really good performances on the Nico, and he's just a great range support player in general, so it makes a lot of sense to ban that out. But with 4 supports being banned out here, there's not a lot left on the table. I think something, a more utility-style focused ADC for Shifters here would make a lot of sense. You could go for something like the Jhin, just to provide your team with a little bit more setup. You already have the DPS from the Cassiopeia. Or they just take the kind of last good engaged support available, which is that Nautilus. And then I'm assuming that we'd probably see something like the Braum for Navi, just to have some sort of disengage. It's a good matchup into the Nautilus.
It's a critical lack of any kind of engage, though. I guess the assumption is you're just going to let the enemy team come to you, but I don't know.
It's not a lot of CC. That is very true. It's not a lot of CC. You could go Leona. That's an option, for sure, if you want some more CC.
I like the Sivir, the additional movement speed. You talked about disengage options with Alistar off the board, Recon taken away as well. Some of those more defensive CC champions, or at least the champions who can get themselves out of dodge, are gone. So Sivir with the ulti, just outrange, run away, or into the Cassio at your discretion. Not bad, but come on. A little bit of CC here. Yeah, they can. Some part of me just feels like we're going to get a range support, and they're just going to be playing the most.
I mean, they could go Lulu, but Lulu Jayce is like, it's pretty vegan. It's very hard to kill people. Like, you just don't have much damage. So I think it's going to be the Braum or the Leona. Both are fine picks. Yeah, it's going to be the Braum.
Poor vegans. They just care about animals, and they're constantly catching strays.
Well, we're here to fight. We're literally killing each other.
That's true.
So
yeah, it's not very, I mean, League of Legends is a, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh, I was thinking about the Vayne. I mean, Vayne is great into Sivir. It's great into Braum. It's pretty terrible into Jayce Azir. So that's kind of like a counter argument to the Vayne. I'm thinking something like the Kai'Sa could make more sense because then you have Kai'Sa Nautilus and the spell shield from Sivir. It's going to be the Kai'Sa Nautilus. Spell shield from Sivir, not that impactful against Kai'Sa. Like, yeah, you can block like a tiny little rocket or a little W, but that's not most of Kai'Sa's damage, right? There's going to be a lot of that auto attacks. So that's why Kai'Sa feels pretty good into the Sivir, and you have a lot of fighting power. And then now you have a really solid engaged core with this Malphite Nautilus going in. Only thing for the Kai'Sa this game, she's pretty forced to go AD, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of AP with Malphite, Cassiopeia, Kai'Sa, and Nautilus. So she can't really go that AP poking build. So it's going to be really heavily enforced there. You have poking disengage come from Navi, full engage come from shifters. So the question that really is on my mind with this game is, can shifters engage before they get poked, or can Navi poke them out before they get engaged?
Dang. Perfectly set up there.
Thank you.
Poke versus engage, a tale as old as time.
I'm an engaged man myself. What about you?
I'm always an engaged fan. I just feel like people really
people
love...
are too stupid. That's my, like, I don't know, as a humanity, I don't think we're able to play slow enough for poke.
You think it's a human problem?
Maybe Gen G could do it.
I was gonna say, I think you're maybe it might be an LEC,
might be
a non-LCK sort of problem.
That's
if
true.
I had to wager here as we get ready for this game. Shifters, of course, coming off that win yesterday. We did hear from Striker. You know, we kind of found some of his answers yesterday lacking. They weren't giving us enough info on what was going wrong, but they found the win yesterday. They talked about it. They feel like it's gonna be full steam ahead now, and need to see if they can deliver, because their job is to press R. That does, however, mean, my dear friend, Mr. Spectra, I don't really know what to expect in the early game, because I assume what Malphite is going to do is a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I think both junglers have a pretty stable, similar game plan, that is to just full clear. Now the question of lanes, there's not a whole lot of action. I think Shifters laning phase is pretty strong, and they do have all-in window timers, but I don't think you can get a safer bot lane than Sivir Braum. It's just like you have so good wave clear, you have a spell shield, you have Braum shield, you have heal Ghost.
Okay,
like this
is my stray of the day. This is two iconic Reckless champions played together. Could there be a safer bot lane?
That's just, they won yesterday. I don't know what you're saying. Right?
No, I'm just saying that these are two picks across two different roles that he's played.
That's
a
true.
Man who understands
being safe.
Being safe.
Yeah. Not safe from you though, apparently.
No, I guess you're right.
Well,
the vegans are catching strays. Reckless is catching. It's the nature of esports coverage. I think everyone's got to catch them all with the proverbial strays. This level 2 close to be had. Parus rocking the best Braum skin by far.
Was that the grill one?
Oh, that's the kebab right there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
With the roasted veggies, as you can see. Important to add.
Yeah.
Yeah. This always leaves me in an interesting place in early game League of Legends, because most of my career I've been used to, in EU especially, casting at least one lane that's going to play completely crazy. And there is a bit of engage on the bot lane, not enough to proc all 4 stacks there, but pretty close. But yeah, feels like we're going to be chilling. Maynter, I guess, is the one player that we can keep an eye on, because we were critical of the Rumble yesterday. Gnar, obviously a new look, and need to see him really excel on this pick, or I think teams have sort of figured out the puzzle to poking holes in Navi's game plan, which is getting this Cassante and just taking it away from Maynter.
Yeah, I think with this Gnar and Cassante matchup, what's just crucial is that you are able to maintain push in the early levels, and that you don't give Cassante any all-in timers, because just as the lane continues progressing, you get to a point where the Gnar can just be kind of this mosquito, constantly just annoying the Cassante and just poking him down. So as long as he doesn't give him any crazy ult angle, get hit by any Q3. He's always going to be fine. As you can see here, he's just continuing to like whittle down Rooster, but as soon as Rooster gets on top of him, it's a hard winning trade for the K'Sante. But as time goes on, Gnar gets the tier 2 boots, gets that Trinity Force, he just continues being able to kite him, and it's really, once you get that 1-2 items, that you start to make progress on side, you get plates, and that's when K'Sante's life actually gets more difficult. So we're not expecting Maynter to hard stomp lane, we just want him to have a stable laning phase, and then he should be slowly accumulating plates and making Rooster's life more and more difficult.
Which is important, because Rooster, again, not necessarily the poster child of the Shifters lineup, but yesterday it really felt like he was. Him and Nuke had an incredible day, but he especially, we looked at that composition behind the scenes, we were both on the analyst test that day, we were skeptical.
Yeah.
But Rooster really did make it work, and we were talking earlier, he played the Nidalee as well, obviously didn't result in the game win, although it was damn close. It seems like as Shifters have been put under the gun, under a lot of pressure here, he has been the one who's been allowed to experiment, and it's really been paying off. But this game is kind of a departure from that. It's back to K'Sante duty.
I agree, but I also disagree with you in the sense that like they put a lot of resources in this draft for him and top lane. Because if you think about it, they banned 2 top laners in the first 3. They banned Sion and Poppy, and their clear game plan was we want to take away K'Sante from Maynter. So even though it's a very traditional standard pick, the way that we got here is not a traditional standard way. It's trying to take away this pick from Maynter and kind of saying you don't have any other cards to play. But I mean, the Gnar thus far, he's already gotten a plate. He's forcing Rooster to base now. I can't help but think that this might be a mistake, because Maynter last year, we saw him in ERLs, he loves this Gnar. He had a ton of success on it, and I don't think he's just the K'Sante one trick. Like, I think there were other ways that this draft could have went, and that would have been a lot more beneficial for Rooster if he went for something more spicy that could have stumped lane and shown more his laning prowess, as we got some fighting here in the jungle.
Rhilech doing a whole lot of hitting the rock, not a whole lot of damaging the rock.
That's not a good sign for the Jayce if the level 5 Malphite is
he hasn't even built any armor yet. That's a roughie. Rhilech, of course, though, printing money every time they fight, as we see another short little trade here.
Printing money might be an overstatement. He got probably like 5 gold.
I mean, where did it come from, Jack? Where did it come from?
Okay,
it's just printing it very slowly.
Incredibly slow inflation. Healthy amount of inflation.
For some reason, instead of making counterfeit hundreds, he's making like counterfeit, I don't know, €1 coins.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
He's going to buy an extra potion soon.
Level 6 here. Opportunity for Rooster to go all in. Maynter, though, recognizing. I mean, it's as you said, right? If K'Sante gets on top of you, so easy to stick to you with that Q slow. Maynter's in the Mega Gnar form can do a lot of damage, but K'Sante, I think, not too bust as Parus. Trade's looking decent. Ghost coming out from Somdi. Trymbi getting chunked as well. Now, Paduck has been caught by the Winter's Bite. We're going to shift our attention to the top side because it's Nuke. Ready to go. Level 6 there for Boukada. Wandering in. Nuke waiting in the darkness. He wanted the euros. He wanted to print the money, but it's going to cost him his life. Flashback from Nuke. Poby forced to ultimate, but Nuke wants to keep going, and he's going to get the flash as well. Wow. Excellent play. Excellent bait.
Yeah, I mean, that was so well played by Nuke there. Sits in the bush, flashes over the Azir wall, and it's that Boukada's level 5 there crucially, so they think they can look for the fight, but Nuke is waiting with the Cassiopeia ult, and at this level, most pro players can always sidestep Cassiopeia ult, so you really need to be creative with how you can find those angles, utilizing that pocket of vision to find that. Wow. I mean, you can really see Nuke is the key player to look out for in this team.
And look, they want to
see their vision, right? They don't see Nuke at all. They don't see him at all.
And this is just a nice little trap. Nuke wasn't even that healthy, all things considered. So if the ult whiffs.
And it's also like probably Poby's comms is like, we don't see Nuke. Maybe he went to base because he's like,
he's chunked.
1/3, yeah. So it's like, probably it's a free crab. He's just faking.
Free crab, free extra bit of damage from first strike. But instead, grabbing that kill, really nice for the Cassio to have, right? Catalyst as well, just meaning you have that extra sustain in lane.
Love how you keep bringing up the first strike. Like all his actions this game is motivated by the first strike.
I think you have to understand that I exist in a world of ARAM mayhem, where dopamine is the only thing that matters.
Grasp in ARAM mayhem for me is like the...
Heart steal, grasp, first strike. Any of these things, it's the only thing I care about, Jack. The idea that I can make extra money, efficiency, min-maxing.
Feels like cheating.
Yeah. Electrocute proc, extra damage, sure, whatever. 10 extra gold, I'm in. Bring back Kleptomancy.
Oh, Rooster is...
Maynter,
Whoa.
flash. Ooh, Rooster full committing now, instantly going
Maynter, no
all
flash.
out. W through connects as well. Maynter, though, going to get the double bounce.
This is huge for Rooster. He's going to zone off Maynter off a full top wave here. I'm surprised. Cassante is balanced, or like, how does he just zone him off of tower 1v1? Wow. Maybe they were right to ban 2 top laners and take away the Cassante. Because that's going to be now probably 2 plates going over for the side of Rooster. A wave and a half denied from Maynter. He also lost his flash in an earlier skirmish that we didn't see.
Yes.
He gets the cannon.
He's going to get the cannon. He gets a little bit of minion back. Now, I think the big question for me there is, was he under the impression that Boukada was there? He doesn't have good vision on the top side, so maybe that's why he left the tower entirely.
I think he was just so, like, chunked and so low base stats with the minion R that he would have just gotten one shot if Rooster got his full combo on him.
Fair.
And without the flash as well, you can't flash any of Cassante's damage with the chain CC. That's what it looked like, at least.
Ultimately, Maynter, again, still holding on to a gold lead for Rooster. This is really nice, especially getting closer to that first item where the trades will really start to become favorable for the Cassante. Much easier to stick to your target. Rhilech making the most of the time that he has as he sees that Maynter has that wave pushed in to at least take away one of the grubs. But again, they don't have enough prio to go for more.
Yeah, Maynter just wants to crash the wave here, but it's a bit scared of the Malphite. Has no vision in the top side here. He's going to look to put down a ward with the Phalites. They get full vision here, but it's going to be 2 grubs going over to Shifters. And now we can really start to see this Malphite counterpick come into fruition. As wherever Jayce goes, if Malphite is following, he has to play pretty damn scared. We'll see if he decides to go for maybe an early Edge of Night to try to counteract some of that Malphite power. The only thing is Malphite can like ulti and then smite it, but
yeah,
it's a little bit harder to execute, and if he doesn't have smite, then the Jayce can play more aggro. As he takes away that jungle camp from Rhilech. Felt a little bit personal.
And I gotta say, we mentioned earlier, Poke. You know,
Yep.
Poke, the big name of the game for Navi. Can you chunk out the Shifters comp before they find an opportunity to all in you? With Boukada getting pretty comfortably through this early game, Rooster stacking armor, I just don't think the Poke is going to be able to hit the right target unless Navi are finding these creative kind of crazy angles. The full front to back is not looking very nice.
Yeah, I mean, when you fall behind in the poke comp, it becomes really difficult because you have to give up every bush much faster than normal because you have to be so scared of the engage. And that just means you have much less time to land that crucial poke that you really need. I think the saving grace for Navi currently is the fact that Maynter can be a split push threat. So you always have that to rely on to progress the game and create pressure on one side of the map. And then you also have Samdi, who's had a really good laning phase thus far. Gotten 1 plate in the bot lane, has a 400 gold lead. It's going to be the first Drake going over to Shifters. So they're getting the first objectives here with 2 grubs and the Mountain Dragon. That feels great for the Malphite and Nautilus and the Cassante this game. A really great Mountain Dragon game for them. That's Rooster here.
Rooster just continuing. We talked about the Mosquito.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all full of damage. A little bit there when he gets the W proc, but...
Yeah. Of course, the awkward thing about Gnar always is, I feel like in most matchups, you either want to spend most of your time in mini or most of your time in Vega. This is a matchup where you really want to be in mini, getting those hyper procs, you know, but if you get too many, you're instantly good for Mega.
Yeah.
Crazy. Now, and cresting the 11-minute mark, it's a relatively close game. Navi holding on to a gold lead. So while we were talking about maybe the difficulties that Rhilech might face, overall the gold is still pretty solid. You highlighted it well. The Drake was taken. Good, I think, recognition from Shifters that they could just rush that objective down because Paduck still hasn't finished his first item. Samdi had just recalled, and that's that tiny window where they did take the Drake.
You can see the poke there as well. Like, Poby and Rhilech here, they have so much range that they can really look to abuse this and make every lane much harder to play. Maynter now is starting to get the better of Rooster in the trades, chunking him out quite a bit. We're going to force the base there and force a TP from Rooster. As Nuke is continuing to get poked out there.
Has to be careful though, doesn't want to get locked in an animation that has him facing Cassio and potentially getting stunned.
Oh, we're going to have a fight over blue buff here.
There's
Rooster
Rhilech.
steeping in the top lane. Looks like Navi wants to maybe back off, as Parus is getting here, but Boukada gets the blue buff. Will he ult in?
Now, ult in, but he's only going to connect on to Parus. Definitely not ideal. Parus backing away, uses the heal. Rooster now unstoppable. Q3 again connecting on Parus as the ulti comes through, pulls him back. Parus is going to get sacrificed. Maynter should just hop over the wall. So blue buff secured by Shifters, and they grab the exit kill as Navi decide they really don't want the fight, despite the fact that the Malphite only hits the Braum.
Yeah, incredibly confusing decision-making there from me by Navi, because they're the ones who are going for the invade on the blue buff, but then they really don't want to fight. Like, as soon as Malphite ulted in, didn't matter that it hit the Braum, they went running. Like, we'll see it here in the replay. I was thinking, okay, if you're invading, you want to fight. But then, after they flashed the Malphite ultimate, now Poby is running away. Rhilech instantly just flashes away. And Poby's eeing away. Confusing. I'm not sure. I think they just misjudged the situation.
Probably. On the hunt, though, is going to get popped bottom lane as they try to get a little something back. Paduck not getting tagged up by the concussive blows means that there's really no kill threat, and we just saw Parus use the ultimate. So they do trade ulti for Ghost. But yeah, I think Paduck's fine with that exchange as long as he can stick around bot. Looks like he will be forced to recall, but there's no wave, and he's making it back in time not to lose too much. Trymbi, on the other hand, just going to continue to make the most of the Nautilus hook there to escape any potential threat.
I do think, though, having a lead on Sivir this game, it is a very solid win con for Navi, because if Malphite then goes in, and Samdi can be the one person that continues hitting throughout, he can really melt this front line with that ricochet and just do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of pressure off of Poby as well.
I mean, there's so many short-range characters on the enemy team. Ricochet is just almost always going to be getting max value unless they're fighting from multiple sides. Paduck, of course, has the potential to dive in, but we'll see what Samdi can do as he gets a bit more time. Maynter, Pathmaker connects. Immediately, it's the all-out going through. Flashback from Maynter. Rooster all-out is a little bit more vulnerable, but again, just in isolation, picking up that summoner spell.
Yeah. And that's what you see, the Cassandra pressure. As soon as he gets onto the Gnar, he has such high kill pressure that Maynter has to flash away, but it's beautifully played by Rooster. He has so much pressure in this top lane matchup. Even though Maynter has the slight lead, he's able to continue pressuring Maynter. Actually, Maynter there faked the base crucially, but he might be in trouble as Nuke and Boukada are looking to rotate on him, and he has no flash.
From up top, Samdi taking the bot lane tower, but it looks like Maynter will be able to escape. Samdi hoping to get first brick here. A little extra money in his pocket as Parus has the concussive blows.
That's a huge lead for Samdi now. 1,000 up on this Kai'Sa.
And sticking around on the top side for Maynter, while it did look like it might cost him his life, what it does mean in the end is that he has enough money to back and complete Trinity Force, crucial as Rooster did get the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, and he delays Shifter's Siege by one more wave, which means while Nuke, maybe if Maynter hadn't taken that top wave, would have been able to take one more plate or even the whole tower. It means that since he had to wait for one more wave, it delays all of Shifter's play. And now you can see that Navi is first out on the map here, able to retake some vision, while Trymbi is basing. Parus is going to be able to face down all his wards and get full control here. So it is the Rift Herald going over to the Shifters. It was a really nice play by Maynter to deny some of their pressure and allow Navi now to push all three lanes at the same time.
Yeah. And of course, when we look at the kind of exchanges that have been happening, 3 objectives in terms of the 2 Grubs, the Drake, and the Herald now. It could be match released by one from the side of Navi, but Navi just going to be getting a lot more in terms of structure damage, a lot more in terms of plates and gold. So that's almost still about 2,000 in their favor, although Nuke looks like we'll be able to grab this tower on the top side with Boukada backing him up. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, we're starting to siege, and you can see lingering in the darkness is Rhilech, and while, yeah, he doesn't hurt Trymbi or Boukada or Rooster too much, he hurts Paduck pretty damn well.
You can see the struggle of this Kai'Sa as she's continuing to fall behind. And Samdi is just building this lead. Really good individual performance by him. That's kind of the vulnerability of this lane, that you really need to find good all-ins, but if you're not able to do so, then Sivir's just going to push you in and then get those ricochets and just poke you down.
And you hit a threshold with Sivir where it does just... She feels just too powerful and the game just feels over. Because so much of the early
400
game...
CS power spike?
Yeah, the 400, 500 CS win condition, whatever it is. There's more. There weren't plates when that was made
That's
up.
true.
So maybe it's less.
But
CS
now you
than
have
it
an
used to
extra
be.
item. Ooh, Poby might be in trouble.
2. Alti is going to connect Poby on the pushback. Not quite enough, and he gets hit by the follow-up. Poby, close your eyes.
I mean, Poby tries to go for one wave that he can't. His support jungler are a little bit too delayed, and Shifter's support jungler are there to punish. That's 3 kills now over to Nuke. It's really going to be Nuke versus Samdi in the DPS department for both teams here.
But I think one of the things that felt like it was lacking from Shifters in the past was how well Boukada was coordinating in some of these moments with the team. But we've seen the same play that they've tried multiple times now, sometimes working, sometimes not, as the bot is mid lane tower is going to fall. Now Trymbi caught out, taken down. Boukada no ulti means there's no follow-up or return play here from Navi. So Navi extending that gold lead even further in their favor, matching the play that was made on the top side from Shifters.
Oh, this Sivir is starting to look like a bigger and bigger problem. I'm not sure how Shifters can ever really find a fight around this Sivir right now. They need to be creative. They need to look on K'Sante and Cassiopeia, because if they go around Samdi, he still has his flash, still has that spell shield. It's just too much damage.
Yeah. And again, Shifters playing to these side lanes, leveraging the power of the Malphite and the Cassio together. It looks good. They found some kills that way. That's the dynamic duo. That's 3 for 3 on kill participation for Nuke and Boukada. But they're going to need a few more plays in the old playbook here. Actually, I take it back. Same play. Run it back. One more time, boys. There it is. It never fails. Miasma locked down. This time, Poby closed his eyes. But there was too much damage. Nuke now on a rampage. Why was I critical? Clearly, you just keep playing to side lane, and you keep malfaulting people, and everything will be fine.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I like that. I like that.
A 4-0 Nuke, why not make it 5? Oh, as now Maynter might be in trouble. Trymbi and Rooster here. Oh, he's
Crunch
not
his way
in
out.
No. Looked pretty easy.
Did look pretty easy. Okay, now Nuke is the thorn in the side of Navi, splitting on the side lane. I don't think Poby can really match him in the 1v1 at this stage. He hasn't even fully sacked Roa either. Ooh, it's not going to get better.
Yeah, I'm excited for the team fights. I think Nuke and Samdi both have a lot of weight on their shoulders. Poby's not going to be doing enough damage, so it's going to be a lot of armor for Boukada, Rooster, and Trymbi here. So we're really looking for that LDR. And smart here by Samdi to buy that LDR third, getting it a little bit earlier than normal. Not deciding to go for that Infinity Edge just to get that armor pen faster. So hopefully he'll have that LDR finished by the next Drake. I don't think he'll have it though, so he'll just be sitting on that last Whisper. We'll see if it's enough damage, as I think a lot of the pressure from Shifters is going to be on Boukada. What type of Malphite ult can he find? How many flashes can he blow? Hopefully he doesn't solo ult the Braum or the Dr. Mundo like someone else.
There's no Dr. Mundo.
There's no Dr. Mundo.
So it can't be...
I mean, I feel like solo ulting the Braum is the same tier.
No.
Like solo ulting a Braum with shield up is the same tier as ulting.
No, it's not.
How is it not the same tier?
It's not. One literally does nothing.
Okay, but what if... Yeah, one...
But also stage of the game. Okay, but stage of the game. And I'm sorry, Isma, you're catching strays, but today is the day that everyone is catching strays.
But
if you were in a late game fight and you solo Ultimundo, if we get a late game solo Braum ult, then I'll give it to you.
That's what I'm saying.
Then we'll tie.
Like, let's say it's like the final soul fight, and then Boukada solo ult Parus with shield up. And they don't even kill him. That's the same tier.
Yeah, it's the same tier. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. It's less comic just because Mundo literally doesn't move at all.
That's true.
Now, I don't know. I think we've laid the stakes out. It's basically a Nuke versus Samdi sort of game. I'm still inclined to favor the Malphite team, but it is easier said than done as pro players, they got good reaction speed. That's the Unbreakable. Gone Herald will charge, and really nice for Navi because securing the Herald earlier from Shifters cost them a lot of gold in terms of what Navi were able to get on the map, and now it's earned them back very little as Rhilech continues to be able to find poke on the priority targets. It was a big concern when there's so much beefy frontline, but people got to come farm. Rhilech knows it, making the most of it to find those quick angles, and now Navi going to grab their second Drake of the game. And the Jayce poke comp with a potential Infernal Soul is a terrifying prospect as Boukada's forced to ult out.
And Navi are playing to their win cons. They're just poking Paduck out on mid waves, and once he gets chunked, Shifters realize we can't contest, free Drake over to Navi. And that's what the poke comp really wants. You don't always need to get kills. You don't always need a crazy team fight. You just want to lower their HP bars, get full control of the objective, and then you get the objective for free as a result. So you want to keep that up and just continue poking out Paduck. I mean, it's a good strategy.
Solid one. Boukada, of course, had to use the ult to escape, which isn't ideal, but has Zeke, so at least a little bit of ultimate haste and level 13 as well. So 2 points. Shouldn't take too long to be back up, but it's not getting easier for Shifter to find these opportunities. Their side lanes are really strong, but they're still losing out pretty heavily in terms of overall gold, as well as control and setup on objectives.
Nuke is really the focal point here that they need to keep trying to make plays around.
This is the struggle, I think, of having the Sivir and Azir on one team, though, is that outside of when we see Rhilech wander into a lane,
nothing happens?
Nothing's going to happen. From the Navi side, right? Like, Shifters have obviously been trying to make a lot of plays around the Malphite, and a lot of them have been working, but we can't be critical of Navi, but unfortunately, the optimal thing, which is what they're doing, is just keep forcing waves until shifters make a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, that's Sivir. All right, push wave. Is it the most brain dead champion in the whole game? Maybe.
Well,
it's up there.
maybe. It's up there. It's up there. The beauty of League of Legends, Fearless, and the buffing of Malphite in various positions is you get a lot of opportunities for very linear champions in our games.
Yeah. Trymbi takes a little bit of damage there, gets poked out. Not much gonna happen, as you say, Daniel.
It's chill. It's time for the mid game podcast. We were talking a lot about how like, oh, Odo's gonna crash out when the Baron happens. Is anyone gonna start the Baron?
No.
We've got an Azir,
Azir
and the Cassio in the game. Baron is gonna die so fast if either side starts it. But I think you're right. I think it is debate. I think neither side's gonna start it.
I think shifters can start it because they do have a good front line to tank it, and they have crazy good turn potential with engage. I think Navi, however, they can easily get control of the Nash because they can face check with the Braum, they can face check with Jayce Q. But if they start it, that's when I really warning bells start to go off in my mind, and that's a really easy way for Navi to throw.
You don't think that it's a good idea to walk in, get all of your armor and MR shredded against the Malphite? You don't think it's good to group up in a preset, predictable position?
Yeah, against the full engage comp. No, I don't think it's a good idea.
All right.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Bold. Crazy that you'd say that.
Thank you. So, that's analysis. So, you can't do that. So, that's kind of what I'm here for, so.
Well, you know, at least we're united in not winning an NLC.
Well, not for long. So.
I get nervous when you go quiet because I'm not sure if I've gone too far. Your eyes start to glaze over like the traumatized dog meme.
We'll win eventually. That's fine. Just some... It is what it is.
Maybe you should just enjoy the journey, Jack. Isn't that what you're always saying?
Yeah, and can we talk about the CS? I just noticed 310 CS for Samdi. That's got to be some sort of record.
He's Choving.
I mean, that's more than Choving. That's like 2x Choving.
Yeah. It's season 2026, so it's hard for me to say what the threshold is now. The numbers have changed.
But that's still a high number.
That is still a very high number. This man is hitting creeps and he's hitting them good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Sivir. See, that's the Sivir thing, right? That's what she does. And that's a good Sivir player. See how many more minutes he can hit.
Skill expression right there.
Gonna hit one right now. Cool.
This man must be really good at cookie clicker. I can feel it. Got the farming capabilities.
Got a star, dude.
There. Got the spreadsheets. Got the strawberries in winter.
Do you like idle games?
No.
I feel like idle games is like...
No, to be clear, I would love idle games, but bro, like, I watch reels that I hate and I lose 3 hours of my life. I can't be playing idle games.
Yeah. Idle games are the brain rot of video games. Just like tickles your brain.
If you love idle games, though, and you're watching this, you should really try Sivir. Just as a side note.
It's kind of an idle game.
There's like occasional like quick time events where people try to hit you with stuff and then you go back to farming.
Yeah.
Check in, get your dailies or every 10 minutes you get a new item. Pretty good. Is Rooster going all in here, trying to make a solo play? Maynter forced to ult him back. Good timing on the ult to make sure that the Pathmaker wasn't a part of the equation. There's always the chance, too, because, again, we gave Rooster a lot of praise yesterday, and Maynter is certainly building up a massive individual advantage, but there's always room for an individual player to make the difference here.
Okay, we got a Drakos. Things are about to start happening. Rooster TPing in the mid lane. Poby is choosing to push one more top wave, so his team has to drop the position. Navi already started up the Drake, need to pull it out.
Okay, keep your eyes on Nuke and a Malphite ultimate. Although Nuke has 3 rounds completed, Poby's only got 2.5, and he's split pushing.
Well,
they're just going to concede it.
The Drake.
They're going to concede it. We are...
I mean, that's the thing, right? When you're playing this poke comp, if Jayce does not land any poke, you kind of need to drop the objective.
Okay.
And Jayce didn't land any poke, and Poby said, well, I'm just going to hit tower.
Do you think if we all shout fight loud enough, they'll listen? Is that allowed, actually, now that I think about it? Will the competitive team get mad at us?
I don't know. How would that not be allowed?
I mean,
they're being coerced to fight.
I don't know.
What if we all pretend like if we toggle vision and then one team doesn't have vision of Baron. And then we all just start shouting, Baron, 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 so that they think that the other team is doing Baron.
That would I don't know if a fine exists for that, but I think it would be fair for them to make a fine in that case.
That would be so funny.
I've heard stories in other esports of people trying to shout like call-outs or whatever to give information away, and that's obviously...
Yeah, but like the funny part is that they're not doing Baron, you know? So that they just think they're doing Baron, so they go
either way, it's bad form. It doesn't matter
Okay.
if it's true information or false information.
Okay.
But I'm not that desperate. If we get to 60 minutes and they haven't fought yet, screw it. I'll risk my job. We'll find out. We'll all just shout Baron until something happens.
Or we all start shouting, Boukada no ult, Boukada no ult.
No, stop. It is funnier when he does actually have one. I agree.
Yeah.
It's equally BM, but it is slightly funnier. Nuke has a book, which I'm excited about because it really raises the stakes on any potential future plays. But the stakes were already sky high. We are waiting for one single fight. Supports have attacked each other. Boukada's over the wall. Parus flashing, he's down. The follow-up ulti is there, but Samdi is still alive. I almost called him Hans Samdi. No more Hans, but he's still looking damn handsome in the back line. It's Poby with the shift. Maynter running in from the side. Throwing down the boomerang. The mosquito's coming alive. He's sucking all the blood out of the Shifters lineup. They're getting absolutely obliterated. The Sivir is online, and it's all gone to shit for the Shifters. The triple, the quadra. Samdi is a demon.
The fight came and Navi did not disappoint as Samdi ran them down with the Sivir. The ricochets did all the right damage. Poby hit a wonderful... They're going to do Nash. I don't think they can do Nash here. Can we? I know we're going into replay. I don't think they can do Nash. Okay, as the fight starts onto Parus, they're doing the Nash still. I still don't think they can do Nash. They can't do Nash. They have to recall. Okay,
Really good three-man push.
They got a little bit too excited.
They got too excited. I understand why. Nothing has happened the entire game. They were feeling it. Maynter, good ult, denies it. Samdi is untouchable. Also, side note, Samdi hit 319 CS at 20. The record for CS at 30 in LEC was 350.
And he has 380 at 29.
At 29. So
it's a world record.
He's clearing as an LEC record, but sure. This part of the world.
This part of the world.
This part of the world. So pretty damn good from Samdi. And we went 0 to 100 really quick there. We didn't even have to shout Baron when no one was on Baron. We didn't have to shout anything else, and that's what I like to see. I am incredibly concerned that the game is just over for Shifters now, but they don't seem too afraid. Maybe because enemy team won a fight and spent all their tempo trying to do Baron. But despite the 5.5k gold advantage for Navi, Shifters remain pretty comfortable pushing out here in mid.
Yeah, I mean, Samdi is an absolute demon right now, but crucially, he used Flash and Ghost in the last team fight. So while he does have the spell shield, if Boukada can get onto him and then Trymbi can layer some CC, he's still just gonna die. So if I'm Navi, even though you do have a huge lead, this is a very easy position to throw when you've used all your sums up against the Malphite. It's much more comfortable for the team that has all the engage to be playing up against no sums. So it's still, I think, a slightly advantageous position for Shifters, and that's why we're seeing them get so much control and so much respect from Navi.
Yeah. So on the fight, obviously a lot of crazy plays in that last fight. Poby with a three-man shove. I really want to see what happens if Rooster can get close to Samdi, because, I mean, Random Wins is a really messed up item, and starting Baron is a really good way to get the enemy team close to you. That said, Maynter is Mega Gnar. Their only really big, reliable piece of CC right here.
They're doing this fast. Rhilech is not in the pit. He
getting lower. Rhilech is in the pit, and that means they can't get anything. They get the Baron. They're ready to make their way out. Samdi is now ulted. Maynter goes in and gets 4. 3 into the wall. The follow-up is there from Rooster, but he's forced to ult. Maynter, not an ideal target. And Samdi is still living. The ulti goes in. Samdi slow. Samdi has to live. Samdi is living. He refuses to die. The Baron goes to the side of Shifters. But it's Navi who take the fight.
Samdi is the hero that Navi needs this game as he takes down 3 members and barely survives through all the damage. And now he's got the BT as well. He's going to have the flashback up for next team fight.
Wow. Wow. Odo's going to be upset. That's one thing.
That's true. They got the Nash and they still fought exactly what he didn't want them to do.
And to be in their defense, I don't think they had a choice. The fight kind of came to them.
That's true.
Navi, crucial that they were able to grab those exit kills and force that fight, because otherwise they would have been in a situation. The Baroned up Malphite team, much scarier, makes it much easier to push. But again, we look back.
We can see how fast they do the Baron Nashor with the Cassiopeia, with the Kai'Sa. They can get it done before Rhilech gets into the pit. He has no flash. And then crucially, I want you to look at SamD here. Because, like, he nearly dies in this fight. And the only thing that really happens to him is a Malphite ultimate and then a Nautilus ultimate. And that's it. But that's like what happens when you're a Sivir without flash. Like, you're so vulnerable in these team fights, and it's just through with all his team protecting him and good positioning from him to not let enemy carries reach him that he can actually survive this team fight.
The Rock is
not happy.
What he's cooking is stress right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It would seem.
Cortisol levels spiking.
That they are. So now almost 3,000 in favor of SamD. Not surprising as he has 6 kills and just millions of minions. The 400 CS, I mean, we now have a new Sivir win condition, given that you can get another item, which is exciting, you mentioned earlier. It's caught out, is able to make it away, but Shifters have held on to at least one Baron buff here, too, with Paduck between Paduck and Nuke, so.
Yeah, I like that play a lot from Rooster, but this feels like classic Shifters mistake here. They group up 5 on this mid lane, or on this bot lane, I mean, to try to push this bot lane tower, but Maynter is just split pushing off to the side, so even though they're able to get the mid tower with Paduck rotating to mid, it's going to be a tier 2 for tier 2 trade, which is really not what you want when you have this Baron Nashor.
Definitely not. That said, I'm glad they at least played on 2 lanes, that they did have Paduck in mid lane. Because last week, we remember the Humanoid game, the Vitality game, they really were playing on, it felt like, one lane, as now the follow-up fight is there. Rhilech,
he's dead. Sticking
around for the crab, just a bit greedy. Of course, we're not close to any major objectives.
Boukada did use the flash, so you do have that. One thing to note, I don't know if we're going to get a replay of that, but Boukada flash smite ulted to get through the spell shields. That was a nice little mechanical thing there, in case you missed it. For all the Boukada haters. That was nice.
That was good.
Good play.
And I don't want to criticize something that resulted in a kill, but I am worried about what the next fight looks like without Malphite having flash.
Will we slow it down? Let's see. I think we'll slow it down. Oh, there it is. There's you see the smite? You saw the smite. Rhilech did get the crab, though. So
by who?
Some junglers.
You know what I'm saying? Just.
Yeah, true. But yeah, overall, I don't know if that's actually even worth, to be honest. As much as I glazed the smite, like flashing on Malphite for just 500 gold before Soul and Nash is going to spawn. Probably not worth, honestly. Maybe they get scared to bolt though.
Well, now they're going to ult immediately in again onto Parus, but they don't have any of their damage dealers in the midst of the fight, so
Boukada, you have no flash!
Oh no! Boukada gone! Maynter manages to find Nuke, the wall-up is there. They body blocked the concussive blows, but SamD's ulted, and now NAVI are on the hunt. Nuke needs a perfect ult, and he's found it! Paduck immediately into the backside, he's trying to kill the Sivir, and he manages to take him down! It's a miracle for Shifters, but they don't have enough left in the tank to finish the fight! Rooster trying to TP away, he's stunned. He's locked up, Paduck will die. They spent it all to kill SamD, and they found their man, but it might just cost them the game.
And the first 34 minutes were all SamD, but it's too late for Shifters now, even though they're able to take him down. At this point, Poby's strong, Maynter's strong, and now with the ace, NAVI are looking to end the game.
That they are. Impressive bounce back from NAVI today. Maynter on the Gnar. Didn't need the Cassante to find an advantage here, and SamD making the most of this Sivir pick, tearing across that single team fight in the mid lane to try and turn the game. Boukada going in with a bit of extra damage, trying to clear the wave as well. Looks like Rhilech might die.
No way!
Throws! Oh, it's LEC! It's never over when you think it's over. Poby continuing to fight Trymbi, 1v1. Now we'll get hooked and will most likely die. Definitely will die, but eventually kills. No, yes, does kill Trymbi.
Oh my god. Last time it was Shifters that felt the wrath of not being able to end the game, and this time it'll be NAVI. As we watch a replay here, Boukada goes for the ultimate onto Poby and Parus, but Poby crucially flashes the ultimate, and then Boukada with no flash gets ran down. It's a great ultimate by Maynter here to get onto Nuke, slow him down. And Nuke here with the turn, really nice ultimate, is able to set up Paduck for success. And he also, Paduck then flashes the flash ult on Poby. And it's kind of the best possible scenario fight for Shifters. But without that Malphite and without that Malphite ultimate, they just don't have enough left in the tank, and they end up both falling. As we go back to live. 15 seconds for the Infernal Dragon. Trymbi still dead for 1. Poby still dead for 10. No TP onto Poby, so it's a 4v4 for the time being, but Trymbi will be back first.
Eyes on Boukada. The flash we felt he wasted earlier did cost him the previous exchange, but if they can stall,
Navi
or
will drop
just
the
take
Drake.
this.
It's crucially, it's not the soul for Shifters, so now we feel comfortable dropping it, and they're running straight to the Nash. And I think Shifters have to drop the Nash.
Fair enough. Luxury of being at soul point is you don't mind if enemy takes with Drake. You highlighted it well, so Navi don't get to pick which of the two objectives they secure, but very happy that in the end it's the Baron that they're able to grab. Surviving this assault is a tall task from the side of Shifters. Already outranged, and this is where the Jayce poke, yes, you can maybe get frontline in front of you, but if Rhilech finds the angle to hit Paduck or Nuke, it's really gonna hurt.
Yeah, and despite the gold lead and CS lead onto SAMD, Paduck is same items now. Both ADCs are full build, so it'll be really up to execution here. So we'll see how both teams can play out this team fight. Poke versus engage. Tail is old as time. We need Navi to get some poke going before Shifters can find the crucial engage. It's all going to come down to Boukada and Trymbi.
Poby has reset though. They don't have bot wave pushing in their favor even with mid and hip down. They've all now reset. 2 minutes left on the Baron. Seems like they want to clear bot wave, regroup maybe on the next mid wave. Although even,
I think playing a 1-4 here with Gnar pushing top lane, that mid lane will push itself in with the inhib, and then the rest of the team sieging bot lane. It's a really good recipe for success here for Navi. Only thing is, crucially, is Maynter needs to not get caught on top, but it doesn't look like Shifters want to look for any cheese play on him. So he's just going to be free reign here to push in this top side.
and the tier 2 is effectively free. Probably one auto will finish it once they're able to get minions in range. Boom. There it goes. Now the next tower in their sights. Shifters grouped in a fight. If they forced a 5v5 right now, before Maynter can TP, especially as this Gnar is about to fade, it's a really good angle. But Trymbi's been spotted on the flank ward. Boukada flashes up, but so is Samdi's.
Yeah, this is
so tense.
Very tense. Navi wants to try to hit this tower, but Samdi knows even with the flash, he needs to be careful.
Celestial opposition taken away from Parus. Top wave tower gonna fall, just Maynter ushering in that wave. Shifters know that essentially it's win or lose on the next set of ultis as Rooster goes all in onto Maynter. This is exactly what Paduck now going to follow. Maynter likely to fall, but is able to flash away, and that's gonna be big because it opens up the bottom side for the rest of Navi. Shifters thought they had the angle, but they spent a ton of resources to walk away empty-handed as we see Maynter TP back to the mid lane. One final fight without the ulti, without the flash of Rooster.
Maynter will just hit this top inhib here. As Navi are continuing to try to look to poke out Shifters. They're going to get the triple inhib. And as long as Shifters don't get a crucial engage here, it should be GG.
On the hunt, there. Navi ready for more. Navi doing a really good job of just letting their minions do the work. Slow and steady. Waiting on Boukada's ulti. The tower is fading. If they overcommit, they could fall. Pushback from Rooster is there. Maynter hops out. Ulti there. Boukada able to find Poby. Instant fall from Nuke. Poby is just going to fall, but no, he manages to live for an extra second, and they immediately delete Nuke in exchange. That's probably just the game, but Paduck is still alive. Samdi just wants to hit the objectives. He wants to hit the objective. Paduck's still living for far too long. He's managed to step back into the fountain, but Samdi is still alive, and that's all that they need. Navi. Close spot in the final moments, but they knock down the base. They take their 5th win.
And Shifters can't kill Samdi, so Samdi kills your Nexus. What a fantastic game from Samdi here. Just an absolute menace in the team fights, a great laning phase, and just domination from start to finish.